This is EaseOS, an operating system for human coherence. If you've tried everything, therapy, functional medicine, mindset work, movement, and still feel like something isn't integrated, you're not broken. Your system is misorganized. EaseOS is not another method. It's a way of understanding how your body, nervous system, emotions, and psychology organize or lose coherence under stress. Here, we don't chase symptoms. We listen to signal. We reorganize the system, and coherence restores power. Less effort, more power. I'm Dr. Connie Cheung, and this is EaseOS.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Connie, and today's podcast is super personal. It's a podcast on my recent framework that I created, which is going to help many of you. It's called the paradox capacity. Today we're going to talk about paradox capacity, hostile chemistry, and why restraint can be the highest form of discipline. Yeah, I know. That's something I would never thought that I would say, because discipline has been one of those things where it's all about the doing, not restraining. There is a truth I did not want to learn, not because it was painful, but because it contradicted everything, just about everything I had been taught to respect. The hardest truth I've learned is this: that sometimes the discipline that builds strength is not effort. It's the opposite. It's restraint. And that sounds wrong. And I was really uneasy about this. And I know it sounds crazy. And it may sound like an excuse, which I used to think for a very long time. And it also sounds like something we tell ourselves when we're afraid to try. But that assumption only makes sense if you believe the body responds to willpower, and it doesn't. It responds to chemistry, and chemistry changes all the rules. You see, we live in a culture that worships effort. I did for as long as I can remember. Try harder, push through, optimize, control, do more, do better. And effort is often framed as a virtue, and restraint is framed as weakness. But there's a moment, and many of you listening are in it right now, where effort no longer builds you, it provokes you. And the cost of ignoring that moment is not stagnation, it's breakdown. Here's the reframe most people never receive. You're not losing because you're weak. You're losing because chemistry is hostile. And hostile chemistry within you doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to coherence. And when chemistry is hostile, when inflammation is elevated, when cortisol dominates, all because of inflammatory physiological responses within you, when electrolytes are unstable, when the nervous system is locked in threat, effort becomes noise. More effort doesn't clarify the signal. It actually distorts it. More effort raises stress hormones. More effort tightens control loops. And more effort accelerates depletion. And when we misinterpret the outcome, we say, I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not consistent enough. I must be doing it wrong. But when you know you're disciplined to the nth degree, and you know how consistent you've been, and you still feel like it's not right, you start to question, what is the culprit of my issue? And the truth is actually simpler and harder. You are applying the wrong discipline for the state of your body is in. This is where paradox begins. Because this discipline that works in one season of your life can harm you in another. And nothing exposes that paradox more clearly than nutrition. Let's talk about potassium. Potassium is essential to life. It governs nerve conduction, muscle contraction, heart rhythm. And in wellness culture, potassium-rich foods are celebrated. Fruits, vegetables, superfoods. They represent vitality, purity, health and wellness. Until kidney function fails, like mine did. Then the very nutrient that sustains life actually becomes dangerous. Not because the body is broken, but because the context has changed. So the discipline is no longer eat clean. The discipline becomes limitation, limiting foods that are objectively healthy, limiting foods you are told to trust, limiting foods your identity may even be built around. And that is not failure. And recognizing this was the most profound step forward for me. That's just simply physiology asking for a different rule set. The same paradox exists with water. Drink more water. Hydration is health. Flush the system until fluid retention threatens your lungs. And that comes with kidney failure, like me. Your blood pressure, your heart, it really does affect it. Then restraint, night hydration keeps you alive. So I've been telling patients, drink more water, at least 8 ounces a day. Drink as much as you can. You can urinate it all out. But for me, with kidney failure, that's just not possible. So I'm to restrain my water intake. And I'm just kind of giving you the context for what I'm talking about here, but I think it applies to all areas and all symptoms. Because this is where people unravel, because everything feels backward when you're told something against, or when you're told something that is completely contradictory to everything you think you know. What once healed now harms. What once signaled virtue now signals danger. What once felt intuitive now feels wrong. And when the mind can't reconcile that, it reaches for the only tool it knows. Try harder. And this has been my go-to for so long, despite even during kidney failure. But trying harder does not work when the system is already overwhelmed. I was trying to run a business, doing hot yoga like I've always done. It's the love. And I convinced myself that that's what it was, not knowing it was dehydrating me. And every time I get dehydrated, my potassium goes up. And I've had to go to the limit of my body breaking down, where I had to sit down in class. My blood pressure dropped so low, I would get faint and dizzy. And I didn't want to recognize this truth because it's something I wanted to hold on to. It was my identity. But I learned effort without coherence does not produce strength. It produces instability. And instability always masquerades as a personal failure before it's recognized as a systemic one. The paradox capacity was born from this experience for me. This same paradox shows up in medicine. I was told accurately that being 100% sensitized with my immune system, highly sensitized, placed me outside of the statistics. The odds were definitely not in my favor, and yet, paradoxically, that same sensitization placed me highest on the transplant list. Both things were true at the same time. Low probability, high probability. Illogical until you understand the system. And then came the whiplash. Yes, to the kidney, then a definite no, again and again and again. It actually felt really cruel. And I didn't know I was grieving every time this happened. And this is where the real work happened, because the danger wasn't disappointment. The danger was orientation. The mind wants resolution. The body lives in probability. And when we lack paradox capacity, uncertainty feels like danger. Your life is in danger. We personalize it. We dramatize it. We collapse into it. We ask, what did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? How much longer do I have to endure this? But paradox capacity teaches a different posture. It says, not everything that feels destabilizing is personal. That some things are simply unscheduled. Some things exist outside linear cause and effects. And your job is not to force certainty when all you knew was to seek certainty all your life, but to remain oriented without certainty. That's the paradox capacity. Paradox capacity is definitely not positivity. It's not resilience theater. It's not pretending to be okay. It is the ability to hold opposing truths without collapsing into identity. And I think our medical system doesn't do this very well. There is no space for those in between. We want to be, or they want us to be locked into textbook data, into what they know to be pathology. And if we fall outside of it, I've gotten a lot of shrugs from the doctors. Like I said, the paradox capacity is the ability to hold opposing truths without collapsing into identity. Effort and restraint, not and or. Hope and realism. Action and waiting. Care and limits. It is knowing when strength looks like pushing and when it looks like listening. You see, I didn't need to be stronger. I needed to stop fighting the orientation my body required. And this was the most humbling experience of my life, especially with all my training. Because knowledge does not exempt you from paradox. It only gives you language for it if you're willing to listen. So if something in your life feels backward right now, if you're experiencing some symptoms and nobody can tell you the answers, if what should work isn't working for you, if trying harder is making you worse, not better, I'm seeing this over and over again, repeatedly in my patient base. I want you to pause before you judge yourself. Ask a different question, not what more should I do, but what is my system asking me to stop provoking? Because restraint is not weakness. It is often most advanced form of discipline there is. And listening, I mean real listening, is not giving up. It's how coherence begins. There's been a lot of things that happened in the last couple of months ever since I closed the doors to my yoga studio, which was a big, huge decision. And then to begin to collect my thoughts, to reflect deeply, to to slow down, to redefine and reorient myself so that I can find coherence as well. I didn't know it at the time, but paradox capacity was what I was cultivating. I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the weeks to come, and I hope to shed a lot of light, because for me, this is really exciting, because I've always had questions about different systems in medicine that I studied. And you guys know I've been studying a long time in different realms, not because I wanted the certifications, but nothing ever felt complete for me. It didn't really answer or check all my questions. And I want to clarify some things. It's because the whole system exists in a silo where we are defending our profession rather than looking at the whole picture to make humans whole. Professionals, they have segments. We're all fragmented. And I have a lot more examples and experience to share that is going to explain why I'm saying this. I feel so aligned, so clear now with this new information. And so please subscribe to my channel or my podcast. Please leave me reviews about your experience. And if this episode resonated, it's likely because some part of you already knew this. You just needed permission to trust it. And that permission is not indulgence. It's actually intelligence. So don't doubt yourself. Don't get down on yourself. And if you're going through something that nobody can explain and you still have questions, or you've done everything right, but you still have suboptimal symptoms, then you're at the right place, because I have some answers for you. And you may not like that answer because it's not clear, it's not definitive. But I think it's time that we embrace this paradox capacity and understand our bodies are dynamic. Everything is contextual. It's not definitive. And when we try to lock in on being true about something, we actually limit our ability to see the bigger picture. Where we're going is coherence, because everybody is so fragmented these days. So I want to shed light to those who are in a confusion and chaos like myself, and is going through a reorientation process to learn what you have to do, because nobody can do that for you. Nobody has the answers for you. Not experts, not doctors. And sometimes if you're one living between the systems and you're an outlier and told that, like I am, please stay tuned, and I have so much more to share with you. Thank you for being here, my friends, and I will see you guys all next week with so much more. And I'm going to build on this topic and give you different frameworks that I've developed so you can finally feel at ease. And this is Ease OS. And this has been my pleasure, and I will see you all next week. And this has been Dr. Connie Cheung. Thank you so much. You can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. Those are my 3 main platforms. You won't see me posting everywhere or every day, but when I do post, it's with deep thought and reflection, with only helping you to see clearly, because I know what it feels like to be in a state of confusion and denying myself the truth. It's time we face the truth and reveal what really needs to be revealed to finally step out of chaos and fragmentation back into coherence, so your body has a fighting chance to be optimized, healthy, balanced, and at ease. And this is Ease OS. Thank you so much. I will see you all next week.
If today's episode resonated, it's likely because your system already knows the answer. Healing doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from reorganizing what's already there. Ease OS is about learning how to listen to signal, restore internal order, and return to coherence without force. You'll find ways to explore this work further in the show notes. Until next time, less effort, more power.